Here we go again. The local government elections is next year, 2026, and the political campaigns are in full swing. Political parties are trudging the length and breadth of South Africa to garner the much needed votes. Now, in the recent days, we have seen the ANC announce a 10-point plan. To be more precise, the president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, announced a 10-point plan which is going to form the bedrock of their battle plan going into the 2026 local municipal election contest. You know what they say about doing the same thing time and time again, hoping for a different set of results. Why am I saying that? You'll learn why I am saying that. The 10 points plan is touted as the new economic blueprint and a strategy for revitalizing service delivery at municipal level. That is as far as the ANC, if you go by what the ANC is saying. The 10-point plan, as could be expected, is long on promises, but short on credibility, as I'm going to point out. The plan, and I don't want to be a prophet of doom, this plan is destined to join the graveyard of many of the ANC's abandoned plans. This is the whole point about this political commentary. I'm going to show you why this plan is not going to fly. With evidence, with scientific evidence, not just sentimental argument out of maybe a disdain for the ANC. No, I'm going to point out to you why it's not going to fly. Then ANC knows that many South Africans don't believe in what they are saying because they don't even believe it themselves. But guess what? This plan is not targeted at a discerning voter like you and me. It is targeted at habitual voters, like in provinces like your Eastern Cape, your Limpopo, my home province, your Mpumalanga, your Free State, Northwest. Those provinces that almost vote the ANC out of habit, irrespective of what the State Capture Commission has said, irrespective of the murder rate, irrespective of what evidence on the ground shows them, irrespective of all the revelations at the Matanga Commission. These are the cadres who would happily gobble up anything that the ANC says. But fortunately, the mitigating factor is that this number of voters is dwindling slowly but surely. This is a very cruel plan, I might say, because it's raising the hopes of South Africans only to crush them. Time and again, especially in a bloodbath environment that we find ourselves. It's very, 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 very bad. For the discerning voter, this plan is tantamount to the fox promising to fix the henhouse. We all know what would happen. And now I want to break down the reasons why I don't believe this plan will fly. At the center of this plan, reason number one is denialism, dishonesty, and gaslighting of the nation. The State Capture and Madlanga Commission have long demonstrated to us, and Madlanga Commission is still demonstrating to us, that the ANC is nothing but a sanctum of a sophisticated patronage network of ANC insiders. And this is what the ANC is in denial of. And this is what the ANC seeks to mislead the South African public to believe that somehow the ANC, a leopard can change its spots. This patronage network, as all of us would know by now, is made up of senior politicians, tenderpreneurs, members of the criminal justice networks, criminal syndicates, and so forth. When CR assumed the reins of power, he did so on the basis of a promise to reform the state, to end state capture. But what has happened? What has in fact happened is that President Cyril simply replaced the Zuma-aligned beneficiaries of the patronage network, shadow state, with his own beneficiaries. Actually, I've heard through the grapevine that during the first meeting, NEC meeting that President Cyril presided over, he was told point blank that don't even dare touch our corruption. Don't dare do that. Instead of dismantling the patronage network, he simply replaced it with his own. Time and again, you might have a comrade being sacrificed who most likely would be belonging to an opposing faction and so forth. CR17 did all this while touting himself as a reformer and a leader of the renewal project. We all know that all this is history now. It's water under the bridge. We know the reality. The reality is more sobering than the illusion that we're being sold. The reason why we have the Madlanga Commission today is evidence enough that President Cyril simply replaced one patronage network, actually members of one patronage network, with his own members. No matter what the president or any official of the ANC can announce in public as far as the promise of service delivery and improving things in South Africa, that doesn't matter. What matters is that the infrastructure of the patronage network is still firmly intact. To capture, to hijack any project and budget for the beneficiaries, for the benefit of its members. A cadre at municipal level, for example, won't allow their benefactors, their tenderpreneurs, no matter how much they've failed in the past, no matter how many projects they've messed up, they will not allow these tenderpreneurs to be bypassed to be bypassed, because these are the guys that grease their palm. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen at all. If you look at the President Cyril Ramaphosa, this is a man who is deputized by a deputy president, Paul Mashatile, who has declared ownership of 2 mansions to the tune of 60 million, way above his declared income. And President Cyril Ramaphosa won't dare touch this kind of a person. He won't, because what would happen? They might actually spill the bean on him as well. They might actually spin the bill. You remember what Batabile Dlamini said in terms of the skeletons. The skeletons might break, the cupboards might break loose, and skeletons of everyone might come out. So, Cyril Ramaphosa is not going to touch these corrupt cadres and incompetent cadres. In fact, he will continue to defend them. The reason why we're having the Madlanga Commission is because he wants to frustrate and delay swift justice, swift measures against his own comrades, Senzo Mchunu and the rest of them. So you tell me, how on earth can the fox protect the henhouse? Another reason why the plan is not going to fly is because the execution rests with the looters. These are the same cadres who are in their position through a cadre deployment process. And they are deployed there with a corruption blueprint, with one mission: to execute state capture and looting of the state. These cadres have no motivation to sabotage a system that has been rewarding them so generously. Kickbacks here and there, funded birthday party, a soft loan to support their extravagant lifestyle and so forth. What I'm trying to say is that corruption and mismanagement on planet ANC are not just organizational shortcomings. They are the ANC's economy. They are the fuel that powers the shadow state to the benefit of ANC cronies. That's the long and short of it. The president has not told us why these beneficiaries of the shadow state would suddenly wake up with a sense of public duty and render improved services to their own detriment. The bitter truth is, what pains South Africa is good for the ANC's patronage network. What I mean is that a hospital that runs out of medicine, a road that has been abandoned due to corruption and incompetence, which has been deliberately orchestrated, all these mean more money in the pocket of ANC cronies. That's the long and short of it. Last reason, the president has not given us a review and account for past failures. This plan is just piled on top of 3 decades of failed plans without explaining reasons for this collapse. The president has offered no autopsy for past failures, no lessons learned, and no mitigation strategy to avoid similar failures, except to some reference for the need for ethical leadership without putting concrete plans of what they are going to deal with current corrupt ministers whom they've recycled time and again, and cadres who are just shuffled around. Now the cycle is simple with the ANC. Announce, fail, announce and fail. And this is a testament to the fact that the ANC is not prepared to change a system that is destroying South Africa whilst lining their pockets. We do not have here leaders who are ambitious. We do not have leaders who have a sense of a higher ideal that is South Africa. They are not like the Chinese leaders whose preoccupation is to build a country that restores dignity for the Chinese people. To build a country, a modern country that makes Chinese walk tall wherever they go, anywhere in the world. No. I mean, apartheid doctrine has defined wrongly and justifiably so a black person as a simpleton, meaning your existence is, you are foolish. Your existence is just limited to basic needs of life. As long as you can eat, nice car, nice clothes, wives, that's it. The tragedy is the ANC goes out and behave exactly as apartheid doctrine has always caricatured a black person. And I'm saying this whilst insisting that the ANC is no benchmark for black excellence. They're a small cycle of greedy and unethical people who have no passion at all. They've got no passion about leadership. So the plan is bound to fail, no doubt. Especially that for the president, the crisis that we have in the country, his plan treats this crisis, this profound and criminal crisis, I should call it, as a technical failure, not as a systemic and criminal crisis that we have in the country. They are resorting to gaslighting. They think they can just disown Brown Mokgotsi without acknowledging their failures. They are in denial of how the ANC has become the sanctum of criminal networks of the worst kind in South Africa. The plan's success would require dismantling of the patronage and shadow state. And this, the ANC won't do in a million years because they are too invested into this kind of criminality. For them, this would be tantamount to them handing themselves over to the police. This charade is tantamount to tasking the force to repair, with the repair of the henhouse. The feathers of the promise might fly, but the fundamental predation will continue until us South Africans recognize this scam that the ANC repeats every election cycle. Unless we recognize it for what it is, the country will be caught up in a cycle of deceptive plans and decaying services, whilst the corrupt ANC cronies get richer and richer. This is the voice in the wilderness. I'm Rendani. Please let me hear what you think. Will the ANC's 10-point plan succeed? Please like, share, and comment and subscribe. Only if this content resonates with you.